Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be talking about all of the books I plan on reading for the O.W.L.s Magical Readathon. This is my first time participating in the Readathon. I didn't even know it existed until last year, so would you stop? So I kind of really didn't have the opportunity to participate. The N.E.W.T Readathon, I would have had time, but I was at Kindred Hospital when that was going on. So this is my first year participating in both the O.W.L.s and hopefully the N.E.W.T Readathon. I have made a few pages in my reading journal. These are all the prompts for the O.W.L.s Readathon. By the way, if for any reason I speak with a British accent in this video, it's because I have been listening to a lot of British audiobooks and I've been watching quite a few British people on YouTube. And this is mainly because one of the main characters in my book is British and I'm trying to get the language down. Not just assume this is the way they talk or this are the phrases they use. I'm actually trying to learn it. So I apologize in advance. It'll probably be cringy, but just try to look over it. Anyways, I have the O.W.L.s, the Ordinary Wizarding Level Examinations prompts for all 12 classes. And then I have the career I'm going to go with once we get to N.E.W.T, and that's the Trader of Magical Tomes. I just love the thought of working in a bookstore and like taking, well, this says you take like 3 days to work in the shop and then you take 2 days to do nothing but read the tomes and before they go out on the shop, the shelves. So that, it was either this or Hogwarts Professor. And I think if I do this next year, I'll do Hogwarts Professor. I wonder, you can't do 2 careers, can you? I don't think so. I think that would be way too much. But anyways, I'm going to do N.E.W.T training as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. And here I have the 6 main classes I need to do for the Trader of Magical Tomes and N.E.W.T training. Let's see. Ancient Ruins, Charms, History of Magic, and Transfiguration are all for the career. And then I have Authomancy, Potions, and Transfiguration for the N.E.W.T training. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, since I have Transfiguration twice, I have to read a separate book, don't I? So I need to, actually, I'll get that to the TBR, I'll get to that in the TBR, but I actually have a second Transfiguration book I can read. Moving on, I made like a potions shelf. I hand drew a couple of these potion bottles and they look like crap, so I'm not going to show you close up. But I have each one of these for one of the classes. So there's 12 bottles here for each 12 of the prompts. So prompt number 1, or I'm sorry, class number 1 is Ancient Ruins. And they are studying the Heart Ruin, heart on the cover or in the title. And I will be reading Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This was actually a no-brainer for me because I only have, I think, 2 books with the word heart in the title. And the majority of the ones that have it on the cover are contemporaries, and as many of you may know, I'm not a contemporary reader, so unless it's an LGBTQ novel. But I just decided to go with that because I feel like I will enjoy it more, and I can get it on audiobook, so that's going to make it a bit quicker. Let's see, the audiobook's actually 14 hours and 34 minutes long. So that's the thing too. I have this section by audiobook. I have my Charms class, it's sectioned by chapter because I'm going to read a manga. And I have the rest of these like sectioned off by like 50-page increments. Second class, Authomancy. I am probably saying that class wrong. I've always had trouble pronouncing that. But it says Magical Qualities of Number 2. Balance/opposite read something outside your favorite genre. And for that, I'm going to be reading Darius the Great Is Not Okay. This is actually one of the books I've put on my, what did I call that? It's like a TBR list to help with my writing. Yeah, I just have like a TBR list here of all the books that I think would help in my writing of Project Valentine. And this is one of the books on there. So I figured 2 birds, 1 stone. Next up is Astronomy. Night classes. Read majority of this book when it's dark outside. And for that I'm going to be reading Winter by Marissa Meyer, the 4th and final book of the Lunar Chronicles. This I've actually already started. I am on page 78, so not very far at all. This book is 823 pages long. There is no way I'm finishing this, even though I have the audiobook for it, because it's a 23-hour audiobook. There's no way I'm finishing this. I have too many things to do, and I have made it a point to only listen to audiobooks while I'm on the treadmill. So that's like 2 hours of audiobook being read, like every other day, depending on what else is going on. So there's no way I'm finishing this before the readathon starts. So I hope it doesn't matter that this book will probably be half read, and that's how it's going to happen. If it's any consolation, I am going to be reading the majority of this book at night, either at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning or around 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Those are just the times I get on the treadmill. Next is Care of Magical Creatures. And the creature we are studying is the hippogriff. Creatures with a beak on the cover. And for this I'm going to be attempting to read Wayfarer. I haven't read Passenger yet, but it is on my list of like TBR books here, so I will get to it before I get to this, obviously. That'd be backwards to read this first. Although I did read the 6th Harry Potter first, not the first book, so yeah, I kind of am backwards. Next prompt is Charms, Lumos Maxima, a book with a white cover. And I'm going with As White as I Could Possibly Get, so I went with the manga Haiku, Volume 7. Next is Defense Against the Dark Arts, and we have Grindylows, book set at the sea or coast. And this is probably my least favorite prompt, and I actually had to go on the forum that G has set up for like recommending books, and someone on there recommended Passenger, which I hadn't even thought of. So I'm going to be reading Passenger for this prompt. Next is Divination, Third Eye. Assign numbers to your TBR and use a random number generator to pick your read. Now this I have a whole separate set of books. The first one is Haiku Volume 8. Then I have Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I have not read a book by her. That's why this is on the list. Then I have The Vicious Deep by Zarita Cordova. I probably said that wrong. But this is the first book in a trilogy, so I hope I don't get this one. Then I have Obsidio by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I said that backwards. But anyways, I love the first 2 books, and I've been putting this off because I don't want the trilogy to end, but it's time that I read it. And then I have Again But Better by Christine Riccio. So the order I said those in is the order they have the number. So 1 is Haiku, 2 is Amy and Rogers, 3 is The Vicious Deep, then Obsidio, then Again But Better. And I could have done like all my TBR books, but I have like 600 TBR books, and I'm not even exaggerating about that. I probably have more than that actually. So randomly generated number, and I got 4. So I'm going to have to read Obsidio. I am 100% not ready for that. I'm not. My heart hurts a little bit. I don't want to read it. I really don't want to read it. Okay. Getting out of that. Next up is Herbology. I'm not even going to attempt to say the plant we are studying, but it's a title that starts with M. And I only had books that start with M. I had one book that was a trilogy, this first book in a trilogy, and I didn't feel like starting a new trilogy. And the other books were like 2nd or 3rd books in the series, so I just went with a manga, and that's Missions of Love Volume 1. I have read the first 12 volumes of this manga, but it has been such a long time that I don't remember anything that has happened. Next up is History of Magic, and that is Witch Hunts, books featuring witches or wizards. I also had to go on the forums to get a recommendation for this as well, because I couldn't remember any except the Truth Witch series, which I didn't want to start. But I completely forgot about Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell, so I'm waiting to get the audiobook for this as well, but I'm also the 16th person in line to, or no, I'm the 18th person in line because it went up to get this audiobook, so hopefully I'll be able to get it. If not, I'll be a little bit sad that I have to physically read it, but I will just have to manage my time better. Next up is Muggle Studies books with the perspective of a muggle, so you have to read a contemporary, which I guess is okay, because even though I don't like contemporaries, I still have a few LGBTQ novels, and also contemporaries are usually notoriously fast-paced, so I chose I Wish You All the Best by Jason Dever, I don't know how to say that name, but this is an LGBTQ novel, I think. It was listed under that, but it's been a while since I've actually looked into this book. I just remember being put off by the cover, but being intrigued by the summary. So I guess we'll see how my thoughts roll once I start reading it. Okay, next up is Potions Shrinking Solution. Read a book under 150 pages. So I'm kind of doing a loophole with this one, and I'm going to read a novella bind-up. These will be about 60 pages long at most, and I do plan on reading this entire book, but I'm only counting one novella for this challenge. So technically, I may not even finish reading this book until like May, let's say, or I may read it in April as kind of like extra reading, but only one of the stories is going to go towards my challenge. Loopholes, because even my mangas are over 150 pages, and I've read all the smaller books, so it's literally the only option I had was a novella. Next up is Transfiguration, Animagus Lecture, which is good since I'm trying to be an animagus. It's a book or series that includes shape-shifting. Now, seeing as I'm taking the animagus training and I need a Transfiguration book for my class, I'm going to be reading Wolf by Ryan Garden. I don't know how to say the name. I'm bad at names, guys. But I'm reading this for one of the prompts. And I also got the second book to The Darkest Star by Jennifer Armentrout. It's called The Burning Shadow, I believe. But I have ordered the book, and I hope it gets here in time. But it might not as well, because I ordered it from the book outlet, and with everything going on, delivering stuff is like probably not going to be like top priority when it comes to things like that. If I don't end up getting the book, but I'll just have to find some other book for Transfiguration. If you guys have any recommendations for Transfiguration books, you guys don't know what are on my shelf, so it's kind of difficult for you guys to recommend me anything, because I don't like ebooks and my library is closed as of yesterday. Just if you guys have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below. I mean, if I have the book, I will read it. If I don't have the book, then I will not read it. If nothing else, it'll give me like an idea of how many shape-shifting. I keep on wanting to say Transfiguration. It'll give me an idea of how many like shape-shifting books there are, because I haven't read a lot of shape-shifting books that I can like recall, and I need to fix that. So obviously the books that I need to read for my classes are going to take like the forefront of my reading, so those are ones I'm going to get to first, and those are going to be Wayward Son, Stars Above, the little novella, then Wolf by Wolf, Volume 7 of Haiku, Darius the Great Is Not Okay, and Heartless by Marissa Meyer. And of course, Winter by Marissa Meyer as well, because I am currently reading this book. So those are like the small stack of books that you can expect me to 100% read. The rest of the books are there if I can finish all of these, and you know, I have extra time so I can get as many classes as I can done, because I really want to see all of this filled in. I doubt it's gonna happen, because the most books, actual books, not counting like audiobooks, or audiobooks are actual books but they help you read faster, so I'm saying audiobooks, and comics and manga and stuff, the most I've actually read outside of those is like 9 physical books. Like, they're pretty decently sized, 300 pages a piece at least, and funnily enough, I was stuck in the hospital when I did that. I had nothing better to do than sit there and read. Hopefully I can buckle down next month, and besides going out for groceries and medicine and stuff, I can read and read and read and play some video games. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna play video games. I'm also not gonna lie when I say that I'm gonna take a break from writing. Chapter 8 is kicking me in the ass anyways, so I might as well step back from it for a while and just try to like relax. I don't see how reading 12 books is gonna help me relax. Actually 13, but I don't see how it's gonna help me relax, but we shall see. So yeah, that is my very ambitious O.W.L.s Readathon TBR. Let me know in the comments whether you guys are participating or not, and what you guys plan on reading if you want to share that. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!